Alright, here's a tour of my DIY jackets so far. This is my main goth jacket. It's probably the one I wear most often. I've got 45 gray painted on. The snap came off on this side, so I added some safety pins. On each of the shoulders, I sewed on some lace that I cut up from a thrifted shirt and added some chains. I also studded around the top of each shoulder. This sleeve has Vision Video painted over it. More of the chains and lace on this side. And then this sleeve has the death rock band Horror Vacui painted on. The back of the jacket features Rosetta Stone and Sisters of Mercy. Sisters of Mercy took a long time to paint. This is the 80s heavy metal jacket I've been working on. It's also my most recent project. I added a bunch of spikes to the top of the shoulder, a little bit more than I usually do. I've got Candlemass, the doom metal band, painted on this sleeve. Here's a Merciful Fate Melissa pin. Next to the classic Queensryche logo, a progressive metal band. Of course, no 80s metal jacket is complete without Dio himself. We've got Merciful Fate again, featured on the other sleeve. Featuring Judas Priest and Warlock as my back pieces. It's kinda hard to see on video, but I did use metallic paint on Judas Priest and Warlock. The Painkiller album art on here is definitely the most impressive thing I've painted on a jacket so far. I've got some studs along the edges of the sleeves and along the top of the back. The stud work isn't the most even, but I'm pretty happy with it. Here's my goth vest. This is also the first leather piece I ever painted on. It was thrifted for $8. We've got Siouxsie and the Banshees over on this pocket. Again, 45 grave over here. The lapels I chose to do adjacent studs and spider webs. This one's also got Sisters of Mercy as the back piece. And studs along the back. They're not very equal, but that's okay. It was also a little bigger than I wanted it to be, so I cut it up and then I sewed it back together by hand. This is my metal battle vest. It's changed vests and swapped out a lot of patches along the way. There's Candlemass on this one as well. We've got the death metal band Amon Amarth, the classic Metal Church, Queensryche with the classic logo again, Judas Priest of course, and we've got a vintage King Diamond pin next to the King Diamond patch and a few more safety pins. Over on this side we've got Iron Maiden and Wasp, Twisted Sister, because they're fun as hell, Edge of Sanity, a great progressive death metal band, Sisters of Suffocation, another death metal band, a Savatage Hall of the Mountain King patch, and the first wave black metal band, Venom. This Bloodbath patch is currently in progress. I love how this Merciful Fate patch looks. And then we've got the old school Demu Borgir logo right next to it. There's Grim Reaper right here, and then we've got Walking Corpse Syndrome. On the back I've got Warlock, Dio's Holy Diver, and Unleash the Archers, a newer power metal band. This side has Children of Bodom and the blackened thrash band, Nocturnal. This is the first leather jacket that I ever put studs and spikes into. This one's a lot more basic compared to all of my others. For the pins on this side, I've got 9 Inch Nails, a little 1959 Cadillac hearse, and the Misfits. And then on this side, I've got a 1980 Judas Priest British Steel pin, some more safety pins, and then some switchblades. The studs along the back on this one were all riveted instead of screwbacks, and I don't think that they were as easy, but they don't look too bad for my first try. I really like how I did the spikes on the shoulders on this one, the tall ones on the top, and then the medium length ones along the sides. This is my horror-themed jacket, whether it be movies or bands. It's definitely a fun one. Here we've got Danzig, Taste the Blood of Dracula, and Alice Cooper. The Creep It Real patch is one that a friend made. We've got the Munsters. I added a few bats all over it. And we've got the classic Carrie. For pins, I've got this zombie pin, one-eyed doll, terrifying, and creepier than a cemetery at midnight. Up here we've got Wednesday 13. For the pins on the other side, I've got this glow-in-the-dark Bela Lugosi pin. And this hearse, which is one of my favorites because a casket comes out. This glow-in-the-dark bat pin, and a Jason pin. For more patches on this side, I've got Evil Dead. Of course, I've got to have the Addams Family and the Misfits. I've got a one-eyed doll patch. And another Wednesday 13 patch. When I fold it over, you can see the crow and some more bats that I cut out. I still need another patch for the very top, but my main back patch is Army of Darkness. Down on this side, we've got Beetlejuice with some more bats that I cut out. And then over on the other side, we've got Wednesday Addams with some more cutout bats and Creature from the Black Lagoon, aka Gillman. Here's my punk jacket. There's quite a bit more work that needs to be done to it. We've got the slits and the horror pops. For pins on this jacket, I've got this Creep, Get In Loser, the horror pops Hell Yeah, and Bride of Frankenstein. I painted the pockets and lapels red. Went ahead and added on the Fiend skull. On the shoulders, I've got some taller cone studs, and then all along the arms, I've got some shorter ones. There's about 500 per each arm, I believe. Needless to say, my fingers hurt quite a bit after putting all these in. On the back of this one, I've got the Dead Kennedys and the Cramps. The Dead Kennedys part was fun to paint, the Cramps not so much. I'm not very good at painting people. I did love painting the Cramps logo though. And then over here I've got You Ain't No Punk You Punk from the Garbage Man song. It seemed fitting. This is my black metal jacket. Carpathian Forest is the band that got me into black metal, so it needed a spot on here. And then we've got Nocturnal. They're a blackened thrash band. I'm not done painting it yet though. I originally had Mercure where Nocturnal was, so I need to put her somewhere else on the jacket. And then on the back I had to include Venom, and I've got Dark Throne. Venom was actually the hardest one to paint on here. These next two are ones that I bought off a friend, so I didn't do the painting work on them, but I'll probably make my own changes over time. I love the fringe on this one. And she painted Rose Tint My World from Rocky Horror on the back. This one's a really fun trench coat. And on this one she painted eyes all the way down the lapels and on the pockets. If you have any DIY questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll hopefully get some more DIY videos up soon.